Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us from the True Stories collection, as in, it actually happened, an event I was actually judging. Amy plays a Summoner's Pact, and on his next turn, Nick plays Emrakul, the Promised End. Can Nick win the game by having Amy not pay for her Pact next turn? Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is closely read the text on Summoner's Pact. Now, if we were talking about something like this Eye of Vecna here, the answer would be pretty easy. It says, you may pay too. That's a choice the game is offering you, and you could legally choose to pay or not to pay. If we take another look at Summoner's Pact, though, we can see it is not worded like that. It doesn't say may. The game isn't offering Amy a choice here. If it is possible for her to pay when this instruction comes around during her upkeep, she has to do it. Now, Amy shouldn't uncork the champagne just yet because it turns out there's one more wrinkle that affects the answer here. See, it's pretty unlikely that Amy is just naturally going to be able to pay 4 mana during her upkeep because she would have to have that mana in her mana pool. Unless she has an Omnath or something, she would have to activate mana abilities during her upkeep in order to get that mana. Activating mana abilities is never required, even if paying a cost is. This means all Nick would have to do to win here would be to not activate any mana abilities during Amy's upkeep, such that she would be unable to pay the cost. Now, the question I was actually asked was the one that I stated during the original problem statement. Can I win the game by just having my opponent not pay the pact? I think it's an interesting discussion all by itself what a judge should say when responding to this question, since the true answer, as we've seen, is something like yes, but technically no. I'd be interested to see what members of the audience have to say on this point, and to avoid influencing your answers one way or the other, I'll hide my answer in the description rather than saying it out loud here in the video. Let's close out with a challenge question with a similar theme. Amy plays Pact of the Titan while she controls a Braid of Fire with 4 counters on it. Then Nick uses a Mindslaver against Amy. Can Nick win the game in Amy's upkeep? So, like before, we know that Amy will lose the game if she cannot pay, but has no option of whether to pay if she has the appropriate mana in her mana pool. Both Pact of the Titan and Braid of Fire trigger during Amy's upkeep, meaning that normally she would have the choice of what order to put them on the stack. Since Nick is controlling Amy at this time, he will make that choice instead. If Braid of Fire resolves first, Amy will add 5 mana before Pact of the Titan asks for a payment. Since there is mana in her mana pool, there's no option for her to not pay. So Nick cannot choose to have her decline. Therefore, Nick needs to have those triggers happen in the other order such that the Pact trigger resolves before Amy gains access to the 5 mana from Braid of Fire. If he does this, Amy will lose the game. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.